Have you ever arrived somewhere new, tired from a long flight, carrying too much, not sure where to go, and had to explain yourself in English before you'd even had coffee? Hotels are not the hard part. The conversation at the front desk, that's the hard part. When someone asks you questions quickly and professionally, and you're not sure you caught everything, and all you want is to sit down somewhere quiet. Today, we are going to make that conversation easy. By the end of this episode, you will know how to check in at a hotel, ask for an early check-in, understand what's included in your room, and handle the small surprises that happen when you travel, all in English. This is day 19 of your 30-day English journey. Day 19. 11 days left. Every episode of this series moves you one step closer to listening fluency, the ability to understand natural English without translating, without stopping, without stress. That's what we're building, day by day. And today, we build it at a hotel front desk in Boston. Yesterday, Sarah boarded a plane at JFK and flew to Boston. She watched New York disappear below her. She had her sketchbook open and 4 whole days ahead of her. Today, she lands. And her first task, before the museums, before the cafes, before any of it, is checking into her hotel. Let's go. The plane landed at Logan Airport at 9:14 in the morning. Sarah moved through the terminal slowly, following the signs. She had done this part yesterday. The signs, the arrows, the long corridors with gates on both sides. She was better at it now. She found the baggage claim area, the section of the airport where passengers wait for their checked bags to come off the plane. A large circular belt moved slowly in the middle of the room. Bags appeared one by one, dropping from a gap in the wall, turning in an endless loop. She spotted her rolling bag, navy blue with a small yellow ribbon tied to the handle so she could find it quickly. She pulled it off the belt and stood up straight. Outside, the air was cold and sharp. Boston in November felt different from New York. Quieter somehow. The streets around the airport were lined with old brick buildings, dark red, worn smooth, and the trees had already turned orange, rust, a deep, dry yellow. Some of the leaves had fallen and lay in flat, damp layers on the pavement. She got into a taxi. Back Bay, the driver said. He had already seen the address on her phone. Yes, please, Sarah said. The hotel on Newbury Street. The driver nodded and pulled into traffic. Sarah looked out the window. Boston moved past slowly, different from New York in a way she couldn't quite name yet. Less vertical somehow, more settled, like it had been here a long time and didn't feel the need to prove it. The taxi stopped in front of a building with a dark green awning and the hotel name in gold letters above the door. A doorman in a long coat held the door open. "Welcome," he said. Sarah walked in. The lobby was warm and quiet. Dark wood paneling on the walls, a long Persian rug. 2 low armchairs near the window facing the street. A single large flower arrangement, white and deep green, on a round table in the center of the room. It smelled faintly of cedar. Sarah wheeled her bag to the front desk, the counter at the entrance of a hotel where guests check in, ask questions, and handle everything related to their stay. The man behind the desk was around 30, with a navy blazer and a calm, unhurried manner. His name tag said Daniel. "Good morning," he said. "Welcome. Do you have a reservation with us?" A reservation is a booking you make in advance, a confirmed arrangement to stay at a hotel on specific dates. Sarah had made her reservation 3 weeks ago, right after she submitted her portfolio for the Brooklyn Creative Awards. "Yes," she said. "Chen, Sarah Chen." Daniel typed something, looked at the screen, typed again. "Gotcha. 4 nights, checking out Friday. Is that right? That's right. Perfect. He looked up. Our standard check-in time is 3 p.m. It's just past 9 now, so the room isn't quite ready yet. I'm sorry about that. Standard check-in time is the official time when hotel rooms become available for new guests. Most hotels set this at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. because the housekeeping team needs time to clean rooms after the previous guest checks out. Sarah had expected this. She had arrived 4 hours early. Is there any chance of an early check-in? She asked. I just got off a flight. Early check-in means arriving at the hotel before the standard check-in time and asking if your room is ready sooner. Hotels don't always guarantee it. It depends on availability, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Daniel considered this. Let me check what we have. He typed again, scrolling through something on the screen. We do have one room that might be ready a bit earlier, around 11. I can't promise, but I'll put a note on it and call you as soon as it's prepared. That would be wonderful, Sarah said. In the meantime, he gestured toward the lobby behind her. You're welcome to wait here, use the Wi-Fi, help yourself to coffee, and I'm happy to store your bag so you don't have to carry it around. Sarah thanked him, left her rolling bag with the desk, and walked back into the lobby with only her backpack. She chose the armchair by the window. Outside, Newberry Street was beginning to wake up. A woman walked past with a coffee cup and a dog on a leash. A man in a coat unlocked a shop door and flipped the sign from closed to open. 2 pigeons investigated something near the curb. A young woman from the hotel staff appeared beside Sarah with a small tray, a glass of orange juice, and 2 small shortbread cookies. Complimentary, she said with a smile, and set it down on the side table. Complimentary means free, provided as a gift or a courtesy without any extra charge. Hotels often offer complimentary items like water, coffee, breakfast, or toiletries as part of the guest experience. Thank you, Sarah said. She took a sip of the juice, cold and fresh. She opened her sketchbook. She wasn't sure yet what she wanted to draw. She looked at the lobby, the rug, the flower arrangement, the ceiling with its dark wooden beams. She looked out at the street. She turned to a blank page and started sketching the window, the frame, the light coming in, 2 pigeons on the pavement below. After a while, she took out her phone and messaged Maya. Landed safe. Hotel lobby is beautiful. They gave me free orange juice. Maya replied almost immediately. Boston! Send pictures. Also jealous. Sarah smiled and put her phone away. She thought about the past few weeks, the portfolio she had submitted, the late nights, the revisions, the moment she had clicked send and closed her laptop and stood in her kitchen not knowing what to do with her hands. And then this, 4 days in Boston, just for her. She picked up a shortbread cookie. At 10:52, her phone buzzed. A message from the front desk. Your room is ready whenever you are, Miss Chen. Room 712. Please come to the desk for your key. Daniel was waiting for her with a small paper envelope. Room 712, 7th floor, he said. He slid the envelope across the counter. Inside were 2 slim plastic cards. These are your key cards. You'll use them to open your door and, in some hotels, to activate the elevator to your floor. Keep one with you at all times and leave the other in the room if you'd like. A key card is a plastic card the same size as a credit card that acts as your room key in most modern hotels. You tap it or slide it to unlock your door. If it stops working, the front desk can reset it for you immediately. Breakfast is served in the dining room from 7 to 10, Daniel continued. It's included with your room, complimentary. Wi-Fi password is on the card inside your envelope. Checkout on Friday is by noon. To check out means to officially leave the hotel, return your key, settle any remaining charges, and end your stay. Most hotels ask guests to check out by 11 a.m. or noon so the rooms can be cleaned for the next guest. The elevator is just past the staircase on your right, he said. 7th floor, turn left, rooms at the end of the hall. Is there anything else I can help you with? No, Sarah said. Thank you, Daniel, really. He smiled. Enjoy Boston. She took the elevator up. It was small and wood-paneled, with a round mirror on the ceiling. She watched herself holding the keycard envelope, backpack on her shoulder, hair slightly tangled from the flight. She looked, she thought, like someone who had just arrived somewhere. 7th floor. She turned left. Room 712 was at the end of a quiet hallway, just as Daniel had said. She held the keycard to the door. A soft click, a small green light. The room was not large. A double bed with a white duvet, a wooden desk under the window, a small armchair in the corner, a lamp on the bedside table with a warm bulb, and across the room, the window. She crossed to it and looked out. Rooftops. Dark red brick stretching in rows. A church steeple in the middle distance, gray against the white November sky. A small park below, bare trees, a stone path, a few pigeons. The city was quiet from up here, calm. She set her backpack on the chair. She sat on the edge of the bed. She looked at the window for a long moment. She had nowhere she had to be until tomorrow. No client emails, no notifications. Just this room, this city, and 4 days to do exactly as she pleased. She lay back on the bed and looked at the ceiling. The room smelled faintly of clean linen and cedar, like the lobby downstairs. She closed her eyes. She was in Boston. Today, Sarah landed in Boston, collected her bag at baggage claim, took a taxi to her hotel on Newbury Street, and checked in, even though her room wasn't ready yet. She asked about early check-in, waited in the lobby with complimentary orange juice and her sketchbook, and finally made her way to room 712 on the 7th floor, a small, quiet room with a view of rooftops and a church steeple. Let's review today's vocabulary. Baggage claim. The area in the airport where passengers collect their checked bags. A reservation. A booking made in advance to stay at a hotel on specific dates. The front desk. The main counter in a hotel where guests check in and ask for help. Standard check-in time. The official time when rooms become available, usually 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Early check-in. Arriving before standard check-in time and asking if your room is ready sooner. Complimentary. Free, provided as a courtesy at no extra charge. Amenities. The extra features and services a hotel offers, like Wi-Fi, breakfast, or a gym. A key card. The plastic card used to unlock your hotel room door. To check out. To officially end your hotel stay, return your key, and settle any charges. A room with a view. A room that looks out onto something worth seeing. Day 19 done. If you finished today's episode, type Day 19 done in the comments. And here's a question for you. When you travel, do you prefer a big hotel with lots of amenities or a small, quiet place like Sarah's? Tell me in the comments. Tomorrow is day 20. Sarah has a full day in Boston, and she meets someone who asks her about her past. Where did she grow up? What was she like as a kid? Talking about the past in English is a different skill, and tomorrow we'll learn it together. Keep listening. Keep learning. See you tomorrow.